Ladies and gentlemen, the world doesn't reward those who simply work harder. It rewards those who work smarter, faster, and better. And that begins with working on yourself. Think about it. Your job can give you a living, but only self-growth can give you a future. If you put all your energy into your job and none into yourself, always remain dependent. But if you invest in your learning, your skills, your mindset, you create a source of unlimited growth that no economy, no company, crisis can ever take away from you. Your greatest asset is not your job, your salary, or even your connections. Your greatest asset is you. Your habits, your resilience, your ability to think bigger than today. Every book you read, every skill you learn, every hour you spend in self-discipline is a deposit into your future wealth and freedom. Jobs may come and go. Titles may change. But the person you become, that never leaves you. If you build yourself strong, confident, and capable, opportunities will chase you instead of you chasing them. So my challenge to you is this: don't just clock in and clock out. Don't just build a career. Build yourself. Harder on your mind than you do on your tasks. Work harder on your character than you do on your resume. Work harder on your dreams than you do on someone else's goals. When you do, you stop just surviving, you start thriving. And when you thrive, the world has no choice but to reward you. If this video helped you, forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you never miss the next one. Also, drop a comment and let me know which country you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. Let's come back to the point. So friends, when we say that personal growth precedes professional growth, it means that the level of success you experience in your career will never rise higher than the level of success you create within yourself. A person's skills, mindset, attitude, discipline act like an invisible ceiling above their job performance. You might be working at a great company or in a high-paying role. But if you stop developing yourself, eventually the work will outgrow you, and someone more prepared will step into the opportunities you neglected to earn. Companies and industries are always evolving. Technologies arrive, customer needs shift, and business models collapse and are replaced overnight. If your personal growth stagnates while everything around you keeps moving forward, then you will find yourself falling behind. That is why it is not enough to simply rely on the tasks your job requires of you. You have to go beyond those tasks and expand who you are as a person. Because the stronger you are, you can handle, adapt, and thrive no matter what changes occur. A job can train you to perform specific functions, but it cannot train you to think differently, to question your limitations, or to imagine a bigger future. That responsibility belongs only to you. When you dedicate time to reading, learning, practicing new skills, and expanding your perspective, you stretch the boundaries of what you are capable of achieving. You begin to notice opportunities that others miss. You become more valuable not just to your employer, but to the entire marketplace. Employers pay for value, not just effort. The more knowledge and insight you carry inside yourself, your work reflects that value. And the faster your career begins to climb. Think of two people working the same job. One performs the basic requirements, goes home, and spends little energy improving. The other uses their free time to study, to learn how to communicate more effectively, to understand industry trends, and to master new tools. In 1 year, the second person is already seen as a leader, as someone capable of taking on more responsibility. They may not be smarter by nature, but they are growing intentionally, and that makes all the difference. Growth compounds. Small daily investments in self-education and discipline accumulate into massive advantages over time. Personal growth also shapes your mindset, and mindset is often the hidden factor that determines whether someone moves forward or remains stuck. People who continuously invest in themselves develop resilience. They know how to handle setbacks without losing momentum. They learn to stay curious, to adapt quickly, and to see problems as challenges instead of obstacles. This attitude makes them stand out in any professional setting. On the other hand, who never work on themselves often crumble under pressure, resist change, and fear competition. The difference lies not in the job itself, but in the person holding the job. You grow as a person, your career naturally expands to match your new level. This is why some people keep rising through positions even in the same company, while others remain in the same role for years. The job is not the limiting factor, the individual's growth is. That is why your most important project will always be yourself. A promotion, a raise, a new opportunity is only a reflection of the value you have created inside. The greater your personal growth, the more inevitable your professional growth becomes. Skills compound faster than money because money is static while skills are dynamic. When you earn money, you can spend it, save it, or invest it. It does not multiply on its own unless you actively put it to work. Skills, on the other hand, grow every time you use them, practice them, and refine them. The more you invest in learning, the more that knowledge builds on itself, opening doors to opportunities that often pay far more than money alone could ever create. Single new skill can change the direction of your career, while money without growth and ability can disappear without leaving any real impact on your future. Consider someone who chooses to sharpen their communication skills. At first, the improvement may seem small, speaking more clearly in meetings, explaining ideas with more confidence, more effectively. But over time, this skill builds influence. That person begins to gain trust, attract leadership opportunities, and inspire teams. Eventually, they might find themselves in a position of authority or in demand as a speaker or consultant. The income that follows is the byproduct of a skill that compounds each time it is applied. Unlike money, which requires external systems to grow, a skill becomes more valuable just by being practiced and used. Another powerful example is technology skills. Someone who chooses to learn coding, data analysis, artificial intelligence tools is not just adding a single ability. They are unlocking an entire ecosystem of possibilities. The first projects may be simple. Each project builds experience, confidence, and creativity. Within a few years, they can transition into higher paying industries, start their own business, design products that impact thousands of people. Money saved in a bank could never produce such exponential growth on its own. Skills create leverage, and leverage multiplies results. The compounding nature of skills also lies in their ability to connect and build upon one another. Learning one new ability often makes it easier to master the next. For example, someone who learns how to write well will also find it easier to market themselves, to sell, to persuade, and even to teach. These related skills combine to form a powerful toolkit that expands influence and income potential. Can only grow through compound interest or investment returns, but skills compound across every area of life. They increase confidence, expand opportunities, and strengthen problem-solving capacity. Money has limitations. It can buy comfort, but it cannot buy competence. It can create security, but it cannot guarantee growth. Skills, however, are infinite in potential. A person with valuable skills can always earn more money, but a person with only money and no skills is at constant risk of losing it. History shows countless examples of people who inherited wealth but lost it quickly because they lacked the ability to manage, multiply, or protect it. Meanwhile, self-made individuals who built skills created wealth repeatedly, even after failures, because their skills could not be taken away. This is why investing in yourself through books, courses, mentorship, and practice is far more powerful than simply chasing a paycheck. Every hour spent learning compounds in the form of improved thinking, faster execution, sharper decision-making. Over years, these small gains build an invisible force that money alone cannot provide. Skills protect you against uncertainty, allow you to adapt when industries change, and give you the freedom to create your own opportunities instead of waiting for someone else to hand them to you. Jobs can change, you remain. This simple truth is often overlooked in the rush to secure titles, salaries, and promotions. Many people spend their entire lives building an identity around a role, company, or an industry. Yet jobs are fragile. Companies merge, industries collapse, technologies disrupt, and economic cycles shift. Seems permanent today may be irrelevant tomorrow. If your entire sense of security is tied to your job, you are placing your future in the hands of forces beyond your control. If you invest in becoming stronger, wiser, and more adaptable, then no matter how much the external world changes, you remain equipped to create value anywhere. History offers endless examples of professions that once thrived and then vanished. There were switchboard operators who connected phone calls manually, typists who worked entire careers on typewriters, travel agents who controlled access to airline tickets, and countless others who seemed indispensable until technology made their work obsolete. The people who survived these shifts were not those who clung to the job itself, but those who focused on the transferable skills they carried with them. Person who learned to communicate, to manage people, to sell ideas, or to solve complex problems could transition into new fields when old ones disappeared. The profession changed. The individual endured because they had invested in themselves. This is why working harder on yourself than on your job is crucial. A job description teaches you how to perform today's tasks, but self-development teaches you how to reinvent yourself tomorrow. The job might pay you for specific duties. Life pays you for the kind of person you become. When industries shift, the unprepared scramble in fear, while the prepared adapt with confidence. It is not because they were lucky, but because they never stopped building the foundation within themselves. Consider how fast the world is moving today. Artificial intelligence, automation, and digital platforms are reshaping work at a pace never seen before. Many roles that exist now will disappear in just a few years. If your entire future is tied to your current job, you are betting against reality. But if you focus on learning how to think critically, how to use new tools, how to build relationships, and how to create value regardless of circumstances, then you will always be in demand. The job may vanish, but you remain valuable. Value will always attract new opportunities. There is also a psychological dimension to this principle. When people lose their jobs, they often feel as though they have lost themselves. That is because they define their identity by what they did, not by who they were becoming. The danger in over-identifying with a job is that it blinds you to your deeper potential. You are more than a role or a paycheck. You are a collection of talents, habits, experiences, and ideas that no job can fully capture. When you build yourself first, you understand that a job is only one expression of your potential, not the definition of it. The greatest freedom comes when you know that your stability is not tied to a company, a boss, or a title. True security lies in your ability to adapt and reinvent yourself. The external world changes. You do not panic because you trust the internal foundation you have built. You remain calm because you know that what you have worked on inside yourself, your skills, your discipline, your creativity, cannot be taken away. That is the real insurance policy in a world of constant change. Discipline creates freedom because discipline is the structure that allows you to break free from the limitations of laziness, distraction, and inconsistency. Many people mistake freedom for the ability to do whatever they want, whenever they want. In reality, that kind of living often leads to chaos, regret, and wasted potential. True freedom is the power to shape your own life, to choose your direction, and to follow through on what matters most without being controlled by impulses or excuses. That freedom does not come from luck or talent, but from discipline practiced daily. Discipline is the invisible bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, remain dreams. With it, dreams become achievements. When you practice self-discipline, you train yourself to act not based on temporary feelings, but on long-term commitments. Feelings fluctuate. They are unreliable guides. One day you feel motivated, the next day you do not. But if you rely only on motivation, you will never achieve consistency. Discipline takes over where motivation leaves off. It ensures that you keep going even when the mood is not there. This consistency compounds over time, creating progress that looks almost magical to those who lack it. People often wonder how successful individuals manage to stay ahead, but the truth is simple. They built the habit of doing the hard things whether they felt like it or not. Freedom is the reward of this discipline. The person who disciplines their spending habits gains the freedom of financial stability and independence. The person who disciplines their health choices gains the freedom of energy, confidence, and longevity. The person who disciplines their time gains the freedom to pursue goals, create opportunities, and enjoy meaningful experiences without being enslaved by procrastination. Every form of lasting freedom is built on discipline. Without it, freedom is short-lived because the lack of control eventually brings consequences that trap you. Consider an athlete training for a championship. They sacrifice nights out, indulgent meals, and leisure because they are disciplined in following a strict routine. From the outside, this may look restrictive. The result of that discipline is the freedom to perform at the highest level, to compete with excellence, and to live a life most people only dream about. The same principle applies in everyday life. The student who studies with discipline enjoys the freedom of career options later. The professional who disciplines their focus on continuous learning enjoys the freedom of higher income and greater opportunities. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. You say you will do something and follow through consistently. You strengthen self-respect. Over time, you no longer doubt your own promises because you know you will keep them. Internal trust creates freedom from self-doubt, hesitation, and regret. You move forward with clarity because you know your actions align with your intentions. On the other hand, who lack discipline often feel trapped in cycles of guilt and frustration, promising themselves they will change, but failing to act. Their lack of discipline robs them of freedom because they remain enslaved to old habits and unfulfilled potential. In a world filled with endless distractions and instant gratification, discipline may feel like a burden, but it is actually the key that unlocks all forms of achievement. The disciplined person is not deprived, they are empowered. They can choose their path instead of drifting. They can say no to temptations because they are saying yes to a bigger vision. They gain the freedom of control over their time, their energy, their finances, and their destiny. While others are pulled in every direction by impulses and circumstances, the disciplined person stands firm, steadily building a life of true freedom through consistent effort. Mindset is the real currency because the way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act shapes the results you create. Many people believe that money, connections, or opportunities are the foundation of success. The truth is that without the right mindset, all of those external resources will eventually slip away. A person with a negative, fixed, fearful mindset can sabotage the best opportunities, while someone with a growth-oriented, resilient, and positive mindset can turn even small chances into massive success. The difference lies not in what is handed to you, but in how you choose to perceive and respond to it. A powerful mindset allows you to see possibilities where others see problems. Challenges come, as they inevitably do. Those with a strong mindset look for solutions, lessons, and opportunities for growth. They treat failure as feedback and setbacks as stepping stones. This perspective creates momentum because they keep moving forward instead of getting stuck in frustration or fear. The other hand, people with a limiting mindset interpret difficulties as signals to stop. They believe the world is against them, or that they are not capable enough, and this belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. In this way, mindset directly influences outcomes even more than skills or resources. Your mindset also determines how you interpret value. Some people see themselves as employees who only trade time for money. Others view themselves as creators of value who can build businesses, lead teams, and influence markets. The same situation produces different results depending on the perspective you hold. If you believe that your worth is limited to the job description in front of you, you will never reach beyond it. But if you believe you can keep expanding, learning, and creating value, then your career and income will naturally grow in alignment with that belief. Itself is a byproduct of the right mindset. A person with the right thinking habits will manage money wisely, invest intelligently, and create opportunities. Even if they lose it all, they can rebuild because the mindset remains intact. That is why so many self-made entrepreneurs can recover from failure and achieve success again. They never relied only on money, they relied on the mindset that created it. Conversely, someone who wins the lottery without cultivating a growth-oriented mindset often ends up broke because they lack the discipline, vision, and responsibility that wealth requires. Mindset also shapes how you treat people, and this directly influences success. If your mindset is rooted in scarcity, you see others as competitors, and you close yourself off from collaboration and trust. But if your mindset is based on abundance, you understand that relationships, partnerships, and shared knowledge multiply value. You become more open, supportive, and trustworthy, and people are naturally drawn to work with you. In professional life, opportunities rarely come from skill alone. They often arrive through networks and relationships, which are built on the foundation of mindset. A growth mindset teaches you to believe that abilities can be developed and intelligence can be expanded. With this belief, you approach life as a continual process of becoming, never fixed or limited by current circumstances. This kind of mindset breeds resilience and adaptability, qualities that are vital in a world of constant change. No matter how quickly industries evolve, a person with the right mindset will adapt faster than someone who clings to old ways of thinking. Flexibility creates a kind of wealth that is far more lasting than financial riches, because it ensures survival and progress in any condition. The real currency in life is not stored in a bank account, but in your thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives. A rich mindset creates rich results. A poor mindset keeps even talented people stuck. The way you train your mind, through reading, reflection, challenges, and new experiences, determines how far you go. You develop a mindset of growth, resilience, and abundance. You carry within you a source of wealth that no economic downturn, no job loss, external crisis can ever take away. You don't get paid for time, you get paid for value. Principle explains why two people can work the same number of hours but receive completely different levels of income. Time is fixed. Everyone only has 24 hours in a day. Value, however, is limitless, and the more you increase the value you provide, the more the world rewards you. People often confuse being busy with being productive. Working long hours does not automatically translate into higher earnings or greater success. It is the quality, creativity, and uniqueness of what you contribute that determines your worth in the marketplace. When you understand that time is not the determining factor, you shift your focus from hours to outcomes. For example, a factory worker and a software developer might both work 8 hours a day. The market values the developer's specialized skill set more highly. It is not because the worker's time is less important as a human being, because the developer's skills and knowledge create results that are in higher demand. In this way, the value you offer dictates your income, simply the effort you exert or the hours you spend. This is why personal growth matters so much. If you invest in building rare and valuable skills, the marketplace cannot ignore you. You will always stand out because you are offering something beyond what ordinary effort can achieve. The doctor who spends years mastering medicine, the designer who owns creativity, the entrepreneur who learns to solve customer problems, all of them raise their value and, as a result, raise their income. Others may work just as hard in terms of hours, but the difference lies in the results they can produce. Value is also tied to problem solving. The bigger the problems you can solve, the greater your value becomes. Someone who solves small problems may be respected, but someone who solves problems that impact entire companies, industries, communities earns far more because their contribution has a larger impact. This is why leaders, innovators, and visionaries often earn significantly more than those who simply follow instructions. The ability to think, innovate, and lead adds value that cannot be measured by time alone. The idea that value outweighs time also teaches you to stop comparing yourself to others based on effort alone. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that because you work harder, you should automatically earn more. But the marketplace does not pay for sweat, it pays for solutions. If you can create outcomes that save people time, generate revenue, or inspire transformation, you will always be compensated more generously than someone who only shows up and completes repetitive tasks. This realization frees you from the illusion that endless hours are the path to success. Instead, you begin to ask, how can I create more value in the hours I already have? This perspective also highlights the importance of continuous learning. Value is not static. Is considered valuable today may become irrelevant tomorrow. The person who invests in themselves by learning new skills, adapting to trends, and staying ahead of the curve ensures that their value continues to rise. Those who stop learning may find that their work, no matter how time-consuming, is no longer valued in the same way. That is why some people remain stuck while others continue to rise. One is trading time, the other is building value. Even in business, this principle is evident. Companies that create products people love are rewarded with profits, not because they worked longer hours than competitors, because they provided greater value. The same is true for individuals. Your income and opportunities are simply a reflection of the value you deliver to others. The more useful, innovative, and impactful you become, the more you are rewarded, regardless of the hours on the clock. At the end of the day, your job may give you a living. It is the work you do on yourself that gives you a life. Industries will change, titles will fade, and time will always move forward. The person you become will remain with you forever. When you choose to invest in your growth, sharpen your skills, discipline your habits, and shape your mindset, you create a kind of wealth that no company or crisis can ever take away. The world does not simply reward hours worked. It rewards value created. And the greatest way to increase your value is to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you commit to becoming more every day, opportunities will chase you, success will follow you, and freedom will belong to you.